I was pressure washing off my sun deck yesterday using my rotary nozzle. I got halfway done and I thought to myself, why am I not doing a video on this? There are a ton of you guys out there, I know this for a fact, that don't even know these things exist. Do they work? Yes, they do. I'm going to show you and prove it to you right now. Welcome back to Steve's Small Engine Saloon again, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. We'll see. Yeah, that is actually pretty good. I already did a video on pressure washers. It's on my channel. I'll put a little link up here for you again. It was called How to Repair a Pressure Washer That Has No Pressure or Low Pressure. It takes you through some simple things that you can check on it if that's your problem. Check that one out if you want. I took some video footage yesterday of me actually using one of these rotary nozzles. I got some cool before and after pictures of how well this thing actually works. Before we get into that footage, I got to take you through a couple things here first. Number one, it's a quick connector. It's made to replace those quick snap-in tips that you use like that. It's a 1/4 inch quick connector. You need to make sure you know that before you buy one of these things. Make sure you have the proper one and proper pressure washer to actually be able to use one of these. Some of your wands out there don't have that tip, that quick connector tip, but most of you do. The other thing is, if you take one of these things and shake it, you can actually hear a loose piece in there. It's supposed to be like that. Don't worry, it's not broken. It's not broken yet, unless you do this. I got to tell you guys this little tip. Because that's loose, some of the higher end one of these things, that loose piece in there where it seats into the end is made out of ceramic. Gravity moves that thing as you tip it this way or tip it that way. When you put this on your wand, let's say for instance you're doing gutters. If you take this thing and you point it up at your gutter, gravity just pulled that loose piece, that piece that actually spins, it just dropped it down away from where it seats into the end. Now if you pull the trigger, what it's doing is it's taking that tip and smacking it up against where it seats. Ceramic, you can actually break it by doing that. Your tip is going to last way longer if you always do this. Before you pull that trigger, make sure you have it pointed down. Now it's seated in place. Gravity just already seated that down where it should be. Now you pull the trigger, it starts working. And after it's working, then yes, absolutely, you can tip it up and keep using it like that to do gutters or things that are higher up like that without damaging it. Make sure you always do that. Tip it down before you pull the trigger. It's going to last way, way longer for you. I'm going to try to explain to you a little bit how this thing works. What it does is it's not a fan spray. It's a single straight shot of water that comes out of that thing. But that piece in there is spinning around like this at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'm going to show you on a piece of paper right here what it does. It's like this. It just does this around and around and around and around so fast, and it makes that cone shape there. The average one of these things spins at 30,000 revolutions a minute. That's how fast that's going. The reason I just showed you that on a piece of paper is because there's a couple parts in the footage that I'm going to show you where you can see me using this thing, and it's literally just going like this. You can see the tip just kind of spinning around really slow like that. Same concept of when I tried to do a video on my little copter here. I tried to do a video on that, and all you could see was the propellers moving really slow. As it's lifting off the ground, the propellers look like they're moving really slow, where with your own eyes, you're seeing them. You can't even see those props are going so fast. Something to do with the video, something to do with how that works. Not really sure why, but when you see this rotary nozzle working with your own eyes, it's just a pure cone of water that's spraying down. You can't see it like in my video where it's just going like this. Just making you aware of that. I'm using a 2800 PSI pressure washer. When I do this, it's 2.5 gallons a minute. I'm using the first footage you're going to see here, the first clip, I'm just using a white, your regular white tip on there. It's a 40-degree tip. I clean a section of my sun deck off as good as I can, and then I just rinse it really quick, and then I switch it back over to that rotary nozzle, and then I redo that same section, and you're going to see what a difference it makes. Check this out. What do you think of that? That's awesome. These things work freaking great. I've been using one of these things for years. I have a link on my description back on this video, if you go to the description, to take you back and buy one of these if you want. When you're looking through that link right there and looking for one for yourself, there's a couple things you got to know about this. You have to match the tip with what pressure washer you have. You have to match your PSI and your gallons per minute as close as you can, or it's not going to really work that good. Common misconception here, you're going to see some that come up that say 5,000 PSI. A lot of people that I've talked to over the years think that they can take that and they take that turbo nozzle that says 5,000 PSI on it, put it on a 2,800 PSI pressure washer, and that increases your pressure to 5,000 PSI. That's not how it works. If I took a 5,000 PSI turbo nozzle, put it on this pressure washer right here, there wouldn't even be enough pressure in that thing to even spin that thing. What that's saying right there is that that 5,000 PSI rotary nozzle is for a 5,000 PSI pressure washer. You just got to be really careful of that when you buy one of these things, you guys. After I was done the sun deck, I went to the back where I have a walkway, and it's got those paving stones. They're just like, yeah, I think they're called paving stones in most parts of the world, where they're like bricks. And then you get grass growing up in between those bricks. I went out there with my normal tip that I usually use. It cleans the bricks okay, but it doesn't get the grass out. All the roots and stuff in between those bricks. Impossible. It doesn't work at all. Put my turbo nozzle on there, and I'm going to show you right now what happened with that. This is awesome. Check this out. What an incredible difference between those before and after pictures. You can't do that on paving stones with a regular tip. Or if you do, it's going to take you hours to do it, where that, with that rotary nozzle right there, that took me, to do that whole walkway, it took me about, I'm going to say 15 minutes. The difference between using your normal nozzle and a rotary nozzle is absolutely incredible to me, you guys. Another thing I got to bring up, wear eye protection, especially if you're doing your driveway or something like that. When you start using one of these things, they work so well, you're going to feel little pebbles and rocks hitting you right in the face. I'm not kidding. Wear eye protection. If you don't have one of these things, if you have a pressure washer and you don't have a rotary nozzle, I think you're crazy. Go back to my link on my description and buy one of these for yourselves. You will not regret it. I hope you like this video, guys. Thumbs up button. I hope you do. I appreciate that. Share that with your friends again, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope I helped. Steve out.